Hi everyone. In this video, I have this Pokemon handbook that I went through and made notes of different mistakes and interesting things that I found. So I'm just going to go through all of them, starting with here. It doesn't mention the Hisui Legion, which makes sense because it's just past Sinnoh, but it still should have mentioned it. Yeah. This page mentions Gigantamax Pokemon in a whole section. It even mentions Dynamax, but there's no section explaining what Dynamax is. It just said that Gigantamax is a special kind of Dynamax. But since it doesn't explain what Dynamax is, that's not super helpful. Especially if you've never actually played the games. Yeah, here's just an interesting thing I noticed. Arcanine has A-R-E right here as in its pronunciation, but Arcan has A-R, not A-R-E. It's really weird. Also, this is not how you pronounce this Pokemon's name. It's clearly Arceus from Archaic and Zeus, so this is not correct. Okay, what's next? Oh yeah. This one is just a mistake here. There's no space between even and tell. This is an official book. You'd think they'd have noticed a mistake like that, but they apparently didn't. So yeah, that's what that is. Baxcalibur's Dex entry says it's air can freeze even liquid hot lava. I've never heard the saying liquid hot before, and it doesn't really make sense. So that's why I wanted to point it out. Next. Cast form. It only shows the normal form for some reason. Even mentions how it can change forms depending on the weather, but it doesn't show those other forms, even though it does in other handbooks. They could have just shrunk this form and put the others, but they didn't for some reason. For Combi, it only shows the female form. Makes sense because that's the one that evolves, but I still think they could have shown the male form. Okay, what's next? Yeah, Crabrawler's Pokedex entry mentions a Spanish dish that you cannot get in Pokemon. It's not the first time Pokedex entries have mentioned real things, it's just interesting. It doesn't have any pictures of the Zen mode forms of Darmanitan for some reason. It really should. I think it might in other handbooks, but I'm not sure. It just should have mentioned or shown images of the Zen modes. Let's see. Yeah. Excadrill EKS. Execute ECKS. Same thing with the Executor. Why is there an extra C and why is there no C here? They said this, the first part of their names they said the same way. Why spell that part differently? It doesn't make sense. Here we go. Here's a fun typo I noticed. This Pokemon is pronounced Frigera, apparently. They forgot the F. So that's all that is. It only shows the red form of Flabébé. Yes, Dex entry is for the red one. I still think it should have shown the other colors, though. So, yeah. That's what that is. Same thing with the Floette and Florges pictures. It only shows red. And also, Florigato, F-L-O-R. Florges, F-L-O-R-E. There's not any difference that I know of, so I don't know why they did that. Sailing with Frostlass and Frostmoth, pronounced the same way, spelled differently for no reason. Okay. Jolteon, J-O-L, Joltik, J-O-H-L. It's another thing like that. It's really weird. If you have a reason, if you know of a reason for it, just let me know in the comments, because I don't know. Yeah, this sentence starts with "and." That's not correct for writing. A sentence should not start with "and." I know, because I recently took a college writing class, and yeah, it only shows the red form again, even though there's other colors. It should show the other colors, but I don't know why they didn't. I wrote Muck's deck entry on here. I'm trying to find out why. I guess it's just because it starts with "it's so stinky." That's just kind of funny to me. Okay. This has been in all of the handbooks that I know of, but it shows this as a split evolution, even though it evolves into both of them. They could have just done one arrow that pointed to both of them, a bigger arrow, but they didn't, because that's the best way you can show this evolution, I guess. Oh yeah, this only happens here, but Oshawa can either evolve into Duat and then Samurott, or it can just directly evolve into Hisui and Samurott. I don't know how they missed this, but it's just funny to me, because it only shows up like this here. It doesn't show up in Duat or Samurott, either the Samurotts or in any of the other Hisui Pokemon. It's just weird. Yeah, here's something I noticed. When it is angered, it immediately discharges the energy stored in the pouches in its cheeks. Cheek sacs that are extra soft and super stretchy. I think they were going to write something else though, but they changed it and forgot to fix that. It's just goofy. Go Team Sky. If you don't know what Team Sky is, then Google it. Okay. Solgaleo, S-O-U-L. Solrock, S-O-L-E. It's just another thing where it's weird like that for no reason. Squawkabilly is just another color one. Because they have different dex entries based on different colors, it has the green one here. It could have the others too. Just show images of them. Mega Steelix's dex entry says that there are records of this Pokemon reaching a depth of over 0.6 of a mile underground. That could have just been simplified to 3/5, but it wasn't for some reason. Guess it just seems more impressive, but okay. Suicune's dex entry says, Suicune embodies the compassion of a pure spring of water. Apparently pure springs of water have compassion. It's just another silly one like that. Okay. Yeah, Teddiursa also has one. Blending fruits and pollen collected by Beedrill. Right here. It's just another mistake. Don't know how they made it, but it's there. Yeah. So Tentacruel and Toedscruel have different pronunciations for the cruel part. This one is cruel, but wherever Tentacruel is back here has cruel. I don't know why they did that. It's just another weird one, I guess. Okay. I don't think that's how this Pokemon is pronounced. Is it actually pronounced Turtonator? So I've always said Turtonator. Sounds similar, but it's not the same. I don't know if it's correct or not. Diffusion. Yeah, it creates heat, shimmers with intense fire to hide itself. Probably meant to say it creates heat that shimmers with intense fire, but they forgot a word, and now it's just something to mention in this video. Tyrantrum, there's no space here, and also no commas in this number. So, just weird to me. Yeah, Unknown only has a picture of this form for some reason. In a previous handbook that we have here, it shows a picture of all of the forms, but here it doesn't do that. Yeah, there's a mistake with Unpheasant's and Ursaluna's dex entries. This Pokemon is intelligent and intensely proud. People will sit up and take notice if you become the trainer of one. And over here on Ursaluna's second dex entry, it says the exact same thing. There was something like this in a Kingdom Hearts book that I got, where for two of the members of Organization 13, it had the exact same description. So, I don't know how this happens, but it happens apparently. Here's the Kingdom Hearts thing I mentioned. Luxord was a nobody that had an obsession with games of chance and blah blah blah, all that stuff. Then it says pretty much the exact same thing right here with Zaldin. He has a nobody that had an obsession with games of chance, all this stuff. Yeah. I don't know why these two have the same description when it's probably not accurate. But it's really weird, and it's definitely the same thing that happened here. So, these are both published by Scholastic, so they need to make sure not to do this again, otherwise I will find it in any of the books that I get. Okay. Last one. This Pokemon is also pronounced wrong. It's not pronounced Yveltal, it's pronounced Yveltal. Everyone knows that, right? And that's all of the notes from this book. Wait, there's one more that I missed because it's folded over weirdly. Okay. Yeah, so this one was folded over two of the things, but Crocona spelled with a K. Well, Crocolo spelled with a K. Crocona spelled with a C. Once again, I have no idea why they did this, but they did, and it's really weird. So now that's actually all of the interesting things I noticed from this book. I hope you enjoyed this video, so see ya!